here. It's been a while, but let's just jump right into it. Let's not belabor the length of this video with long introductions. So today I am going to talk about the perfumes I have been wearing the most at the beginning of the fall, and I'll probably continue to rotate these perfumes the most during the fall and winter season. But of course, as I transition to other perfumes when it gets colder, I'll come back and do another video. So let's start with a layering combination. So I have here Old Perfumery's version of Good Girl Gone Bad. It's their version of the perfume by Kilian. And I layer on top of that My Way Intense by Armani. So this perfume oil, even though it's an oil, and some might assume that an oil doesn't really project that well because oils do stick closer to the skin in comparison to the way that alcohol-based perfumes evaporate away from the skin more. This performs well on its own. For a while I was wearing just this oil. I had the smaller version in a 10 milliliter, and it wasn't performing in a crazy way like take up the room, but it was lasting all day, and I think people definitely could smell it if they were about, I would say, elbows length away from me, not arm length or further away from me. At that point they probably couldn't smell it, but if they were close enough for me to stick up my elbow and bump into them, they could pick up this scent. But because I was loving this combination so much, and the combination is basically, when I'm talking about Old Perfumery, the combination scent profile consists of tuberose, I think angelica, and osmanthus. Those are the main three notes that stand out to me, and I love that combination. I just wanted it to perform further because I love scenting the world with my perfume. I love scenting rooms, and I love people being able to smell my perfume, and of course especially when my perfume it smells so nicely that they love it. But because I wanted bigger projection, I decided to figure out a perfume I could layer on top of it without having to get the matching perfume. And what worked out for me was My Way Intense by Armani. My Way Intense by Armani also has tuberose, but instead of it having osmanthus as the fruity note, it has bergamot as the fruity note. So My Way and My Way Intense by Armani actually smells pretty similarly to L'Interdit, but to me, the My Way composition is fresher and brighter. L'Interdit is very like dark and heavy, honestly almost witchy but L'Interdit by Givenchy has more of a witchy vibe, or a, you know, she casts spells and she has men under her spell type of vibe. The My Way has more of a she's the sister of the witchy girl, but she's not witchy. So that's a weird, I guess, explanation, but it's what works in my mind. But I love these two together because together they project well. Very beautiful, sophisticated, floral, fruity, but mature and well blended, both the individual scents and the way they smell together. Next up, we have a perfume that I'm wearing on its own. I don't layer it with another competing or different scent, if you will. I just layer it with the Coco Mademoiselle body lotion. And of course, this is Coco Mademoiselle Eau De Parfums Intense by Chanel. So most people at this point are very familiar with the Coco Mademoiselle smell because you can get the Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum, the Eau de Parfum Intense, the Pure Parfum, and the, I think, L'Eau Privé. There's so many versions out, but the version I like the most for cold weather is Eau de Parfum Intense. I do have the Eau de Toilette for warm weather, which I love. So basically what I'm doing is transitioning from the summer version to the cold weather version. This one actually is so intense that I'm almost tempted to just keep it set aside for winter. But here in Indiana, compared to Alabama, where I grew up, it does get colder in the fall than it does down south. So this still works without feeling choking or cloying. It works perfectly actually for cold weather. So to describe the smell, I would just say this is a fruity patchouli, but the fruitiness doesn't last that long. After a certain point, maybe an hour or two, what you really are smelling is a hint of citruses and fruitiness, and then an overwhelming presence of tonka bean and patchouli. Like the dark notes in here stand out and take over pretty quickly. Initially, everything is more blended together as far as it being fruity notes and dark notes, and you can smell some of the florals as well. But after a certain point, what you really smell, you really smell the patchouli and the tonka bean, in my opinion. Let's do this one. So this is Delilah by Maison Alhambra, and this is Maison Alhambra's version of Delina by Perfumes de Marley. I have smelled the Delina version, which is the original version. I feel bad for even saying version. I have smelled Delina. I smelled it as a sample, and I had a travel spray that I purchased from someone. Basically, they decanted some of their bottle into a travel spray for me, and I just wasn't impressed enough to ever buy a full bottle at the price that Delina cost. Even the discounted price on places like Fragrance Net, I just wasn't able to really make that connection of it being, I guess, worth that price. I think I was cool with having the sample. But when I heard that Delilah smells so much like Delina, because I heard about this through social media, like Facebook fragrance groups, and even people on Instagram talking about this. I don't know why I'm stroking this like it's a pretty little ponytail or something, but let me stop. But so many people were singing the praises of this, and people were saying, I know a lot of you all hate dupe perfumes, but this smells so much like Delina. And one person I follow on Instagram even claimed that the company Maison Alhambra is a subsidiary of the company that produces Parfum de Marley's perfume. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's just something they were saying to feel better about buying a dupe. But me personally, I do not feel bad in any way about buying a dupe, especially a dupe that smells so good. I got this for $25, and I get compliments on this perfume every single time I wear this. And people compliment me from like 5 feet away. So this projects, this performs, it reaches, and it smells great. And even though the fruity lychee smell might be reminiscent of what some people would associate with summer, because of how well this performs, I still think it works beautifully for fall. Basically, it's able to cut through that cold weather and really make an impact. Now let's talk about another layering combination. So we have here the Oud Bouquet oil by Old Perfumery. So their version of Oud Bouquet, which I layer as the first layer. I put it down as the first layer. And then on top of that, I add Sofia by Sofia Vergara. This scent combination is another one that actually gets quite a few compliments, to the point where people have said they now associate this smell with me, because when I wear this combination, people have claimed that the scent stayed around even after I left. Like their living room smelled like this for at least the rest of the night. Or if I sat in their office while wearing this combination, their office smelled like this for like a day or two, especially really small offices basically. But this perfume basically sticks around. It leaves a trail behind you, and it makes an impact. And I've had people just say they associate the smell with me now. Like every time I wear this, they just kind of like, Allison. And I almost was shocked when I got that reaction that someone basically said, oh, I came in the room and I knew you were here because of this scent, because I have a lot of perfumes. I didn't think anybody would ever get a chance to associate one perfume or a combination with me. But I've been told that people now associate this scent with me. It's very strong. The combination, even if you wear Sofia by itself, is strong. Or if you wear Oud Bouquet, the oil version even, it's a strong scent. It definitely cuts through cold weather. But when I combine these two together, the strength intensifies. It is mature. It is not for the faint of heart. I wouldn't say it's headache inducing, at least not for me, but I think it has the potential to be headache inducing for people who are sensitive to perfumes. No one's expressing a concern so far, so I'll keep wearing this, especially as it gets colder. But if I want to describe the scent, so the base that this creates, the Oud Bouquet, it creates an oudi, obviously, praline rosy base. So it has like a sweet floral smell with a hint of stank, which sounds gross probably, but you know, sometimes that stank works. Like, I think you know what I mean, especially if you are mature. Something about that stank, sometimes it just works. So this has that stank to it, but then when you add this on top, it brings that funk into a fruity patchouli berry, and the fruitiness in here smells like a berry type of fruitiness, not like, you know, not like, I guess, candy fruitiness, or the fruits that you associate with candy, like strawberry. It has basically still a mature fruitiness. Something about dark berries and plums, those types of fruits I'm drawn to. So it's not surprising that I enjoy this type of perfume. And then last but not least, come on girl, get on over here. Armani C Intense, the 2021 version. So not the version that comes in the black bottle, which is harder to find now because it's been replaced with this version in the clear bottle with the amber juice. Yeah, the bottle itself, I can tell, is clear, and it's the juice that is amber, not the bottle. But speaking of dark fruits, this is a cassis or black currant heaven. This is black currant done well. So black currant is a tricky note. It really is. And I know it's tricky because when I first got into perfume, I was actually wearing a dupe of Armani C by Perfumes. And it was early in my perfume journey, so maybe my nose wasn't as refined as it is now. And I used to wear that version of Armani C all the time, and people complimented me. But after a while, I started feeling like, does anyone else smell cat urine? Is it just me? And so I stopped wearing it. I just kind of ignored it, and I think I eventually threw it away. But when cassis is done cheaply, it can have a bit of a cat urine smell. This isn't done cheaply. It's done well. It's done with high quality ingredients. So you have cassis or black currant in here, but you also have patchouli, and I wouldn't be surprised if you have vanilla, but to me, it smells like a warm, fruity, but slightly dark combination. So not so dark that I'm getting the witchy vibes that I mentioned from L'Interdit. So not dark and witchy, but it is dark and sultry, if you will. And I think this definitely will work better and better as it gets colder and colder, especially for office parties that are holiday themed, if you will. I don't celebrate Christmas, so I guess that's why I was hesitating to even mention Christmas. But I don't celebrate Christmas, but if I was going to an office party that was holiday themed, this would definitely be what I would wear for that occasion. Okay, so that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Just to summarize, I talked about Coco Mademoiselle Eau De Parfums Intense. I talked about Good Girl Gone Bad perfume oil by Perfumery in conjunction with My Way Intense by Armani. I also talked about Oud Bouquet perfume oil in conjunction with Sofia Eau De Parfums by Sofia Vergara. And then I concluded with Armani C Intense. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.